Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know with the news you trust studio. Sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Morgan Anderson. It's 46 degrees outside and cloudy, definitely feeling a little chilly. The wind's making it feel cooler at about 38 degrees. Here in Athens County, we're expected to have a frost advisory by 2 a.m. Our low for tonight is 38 degrees. Taking a look at your agricultural headline, the tariff whiplash continues as President Donald Trump announced a 90-day pause on most tariffs. Chad Smith reports.
President Trump announced a 90-day pause in the reciprocal tariffs in place on many U.S. trading partners. Dave Salmonson, Senior Director of Government Affairs for the American Farm Bureau Federation, says the situation has changed rapidly over the last 7 days.
The 10% tariffs went into effect last weekend. Specific country tariffs, the higher ones, were supposed to go into effect on April 9th. And then the president came on April 9th and said, well, we're going to do a 90-day pause. Right now, we're waiting to see what happens next, but the specific country, the very high tariffs, haven't gone into effect.
It's important to note there was one significant exception to the pause, China, which actually saw an increase in tariffs.
Right now, we've got a 125% additional tariff on Chinese goods that would enter the U.S., and they had retaliated and said, well, we're going to put up to an 84% tariff on U.S. goods going into China. We'll see what impacts that has going forward on all U.S. goods exports, but of course, particularly our agricultural exports.
Salmonson says the next 3 months will be critical for negotiations.
But now is the time for discussion. I think a lot of the countries, whether they had the 10% additional or the much higher levels that they're country-specific, will be engaging in discussions with the administration, see what kind of a deal they can work out in exchange for, again, reducing their tariffs, looking at some of their non-tariff trade barriers. In agriculture, of course, we're looking to standards.
Stay tuned to FB.org for the latest updates. Chad Smith, Washington.
We'll be back after this.
Think biodiesel is just another fuel? Think again. Biodiesel is Ohio innovation on the move. Clean, green, and built to keep diesel engines running strong. It's an engine booster, a soybean supporter, and an environmental champion all in one. Every gallon reduces emissions, strengthens Ohio farms, and powers your ride. Drive with purpose. Choose biodiesel. Learn how at soyohio.org.
Happy Friday. Let's take a look at our afternoon weather update from meteorologist Ryan Martin, brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com.
Dry but cool for the balance of this afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at that quick forecast update for Ohio. We are going to be seeing partly sunny skies for the rest of today. Temperatures below normal. Same thing for tomorrow. Cold temperatures, but maybe a few degrees warmer than today. The biggest surge that we see in temperatures comes over the late weekend. Sunday, we see South Flow taking temperatures up, but in that we might have to deal with a few spits and sprinkles around. On Monday, there's a little chance of moisture trying to come across the state, now shifting a little bit farther north. We had been thinking it was mostly central and south, but I'd say I-70 north. Now we have to keep an eye out for showers and thunderstorms anywhere from a tenth to half an inch with coverage at 60% of the state. Following that up with cold air for Tuesday, Wednesday, and early Thursday. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. We'll be right back.
Ohio's beef farms run on the protein-packed punch of soybeans. Across the United States, beef operations consume the equivalent of 55 million bushels of soybean meal annually. Soy meal delivers the energy and essential nutrients that help produce top-quality beef for your table. From soybean fields to plates everywhere, soybeans power the farms that feed families. This message brought to you by the Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Now we have our daily update from Lice Mercantile.
This is Ryan Metzger with Lice Mercantile, giving you your week-ending recap. This week we've been seeing quite a bit of volatility led by President Trump's new trade policy that has now ratcheted up tariffs on China to 145%. This morning, China responded by raising tariffs to 125% on U.S. goods, but this statement from their finance ministry is what has stuck out to me. Quote, even if the U.S. continues to impose even higher tariffs, it will no longer have any economic significance and would go down as a joke in the history of world economics. If the U.S. continues to play a numbers game with tariffs, China will not respond. However, China did leave the door open for Beijing to turn to other retaliation, reiterating that China would fight the U.S. until the end. We need to keep an eye on the U.S. bond market, as it appears that is one of the main indicators the Trump administration is focusing on as they navigate these murky trade war waters. Please visit our website, licemercantile.com, to learn more about our grain marketing program and crop insurance services.
Thanks, Ryan. Now let's recap how the markets closed, brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. May corn up 7 1/4 at $4.90 1/4. March corn up 9 3/4 at $4.75 1/4. May beans up 13 3/4 at $10.42 3/4 cent. January beans up 20 1/4 at $10.37 1/2. July wheat up 16 3/4 at $5.70 1/4. In December wheat up 15 1/4 at $6.05 3/4 cent. This is the Ohio AgNet.